Hey everybody, welcome back to the Nidus Anarchy series. I'm your host Adam, and today we're going to be talking about tattoos in the workplace. First, as you can tell, I'm obviously heavily tattooed. I'm pretty much covered from, not head to toe, but definitely neck to toe. And the reason I want to talk about this is yesterday I was actually out getting more tattoo work done. It's like still super fresh. And I wind up meeting a lot of people in the IT industry, and they're like, "Oh, I want to get tattooed and this and that." And I recommend it. I mean, get tattooed, do whatever you want. It's always great from the hand up. Anything that you can cover, go for it. Do it all day long. Now, should you get your hands tattooed, your knuckles tattooed, your face or your neck tattooed? No, I don't recommend it. And actually, there's a term for those. So if you get a tattoo on your hand, your neck, and your face, we call them job stoppers. And there's a reason, because when you're going in for a job interview, if it's you versus 10 other people and you all have the exact same qualifications, but you got some dumb shit tattooed across your forehead, you're going to be, axed. You're not going to get the job. I'm not saying 100% of the time, but in the case of you are the same as everyone else and there's a lot of people, you put yourself at a disadvantage. So there's a reason they're called job stoppers. Oh, to give you a little bit of background, I also own a tattoo shop. I opened up a tattoo shop down in Puerto Rico called Live Once Inc. in 2011, I think is when we opened. So yeah, we've been open a little over 12 years now. So I do know a thing or two about tattoos, more than just being tattooed. And when we get people coming into our shop saying, "Hey, I want to get my hand tattooed or my neck tattooed," if they don't already have full sleeves and body and chest stuff done, we won't do it. Especially if they're kids. Like if you're in your early 20s, late teens, I don't care if you can legally get it done. A reputable shop will not tattoo your first tattoo on your hand because you're making a horrible decision in life. So if you're looking to get tattooed, I recommend it, but be thoughtful about where you're going to get tattooed and what it is. So if you are getting something visible, you better make sure that this is going to represent you forever. Now, I made the decision, like on my 30th birthday, that's when I got my knuckles tattooed, because I really did not want to fully commit to being a typical corporate yuppie. That's just not who I am, and I knew I was never going to be that person, so I went and I got my knuckles tattooed. I instantly regretted it. Literally, that night, after I went to dinner, I came home, and I'm sitting there looking at my hand. I had a panic attack like crazy. I even thought, like, maybe if I scrub it with like a Brillo pad, it'll all come off and it'll be fine. The next day, I was okay, and I was actually very happy with my decision, but I absolutely had a massive panic attack, oh shit, what did I do moment, even though I'm heavily secured in my job position as running my own company. I'm heavily secured in the industry because I'm, pretty well known in this industry for doing really good work. So I knew I had that kind of security for what I was doing, but even still, I still had that panic moment, and for good cause. So if you're looking to get visible tattoos, just make sure it's something you actually really want to do and you're already secured in your space. Your job is set. You don't have to worry about it. If you were to get fired tomorrow, for whatever reason, whether it's layoffs, because that seems to be happening all over the place now, or you just want to change careers or anything, is that tattoo going to hamper your ability in your career? If the answer is yes, I don't recommend it. If the answer is no, then do whatever you want. Have fun. I think everyone should get a tattoo. I think it's one of those things where it commits you to something. Like, people are so easy to just say, like, oh, I don't really know what I would want, and, whatever. It's like, when you get a tattoo, you're making a serious commitment to yourself that this is who you are and you're going to have this thing on for the rest of your life. Like, we actually have a saying in the tattoo industry: it takes you 5 years to figure out your first tattoo and 5 minutes to figure out your second one. Because once you're tattooed, then you're like, oh, that looks cool, just put that here. It gets kind of crazy. Now, in the tech world of tattoos, Ian just showed me a video that I thought was kind of funny. So this girl got a QR code tattooed on her shoulder, and when you scan it, it brings up a YouTube video of some soccer player scoring a goal or something. And apparently this seems to be, a newest craze, is getting a QR code tattooed on yourself. So first off, let me tell you this. This isn't new. Back when I was like 18 or so, it was a big craze to get a barcode tattooed on you. One of my best friends has a barcode on his arm, and I guarantee you it will not scan. Because here's the reason. Anything that involves a straight line being needed, very hard to do straight lines on curved, fleshy surfaces. So straight lines don't really work out too well. And then also, over time, the ink tends to bleed, so it gets blurry. So things like barcodes, when those lines are super close to each other, then they get blurred out, and now you can't scan it anymore. Same thing with the QR code. If you do it too small and there's too much data in there, then all those blocks eventually will start to blur out, and then that QR code is not going to be readable. So now you're going to have a QR code that is not usable. You're basically going to have this blob of blocks on your arm or wherever you put it. If you're cool with that and you think it's just going to be fun, I say go for it. But let me help you guys out. If you guys are looking to get a QR code tattooed on you, let me rephrase. Let me start this one over. If you're looking to get a QR code tattooed on you, here's some helpful advice to at least make sure that you get it the best way possible. The first is, if you're tattooing a URL, don't do a static URL like to a YouTube video or to a specific website. Tattoo it to a dynamic link that you can change whenever you want. So this way, that QR code, when you scan it, can go to your portfolio page one day, but the next day it could go to a Rickroll video. So make sure you get a QR code of something that you can change dynamically on the back end, because that thing's on you forever. 2, make sure it's a domain that you own and that you control, because if that domain ever disappears, your QR code is gone. So register your own domain name. Number 2, make sure it has error correction. So error correction, when you generate the QR code, adds more data in there. So in case some pieces become not readable, it will still work. Because the tattoos are going to fade and blur, like I said, you need high error correction to ensure that this thing will read even as it starts to degrade. The last thing I would say is try to do the shortest URL possible, because the shorter URL means less data. Less data means you can have bigger blocks. If you try to cram a ton of little tiny blocks in there, and again, like I said, when it bleeds, it's not going to be readable. So get a custom domain name that you own, as short as possible, and try to get that thing by an artist that absolutely knows how to do fine line tattoo work, like a 3 round, something super fine to get those lines really, really sharp. And have fun. Send me your QR code. I'd love to see what it is. I'll see you guys around.